Time keeps on leaving and we keep on moving. When do we pass on our wisdom to the youth? My veteran story, lost arts discussions, fireside chats with a bourbon or two. It's time to hear the stories by our military veterans. Get yourself ready. It's the Lost Arts Podcast. The Lost Arts with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast that gives a voice to our veterans. On today's episode, we're having a fireside chat with the Fireside Chat crew. So we got them all here today. We missed a couple last week, but we got them all in. If you're enjoying these episodes and enjoying the podcast, consider becoming a TLA patron. That's a Lost Arts patron. It's through donations that we're able to continue recording these podcasts and getting our veteran voices out for all to hear. Just go to the Lost Art website and click on the Become a Patron link at the top. If becoming a TLA patron doesn't work for you and you would rather give a one-time donation, then go to the Lost Art website and scroll down until you see the donations link. Any donation is appreciated. And if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast, then email me directly at thelostartwithandrewcox@gmail.com. Again, that's thelostartwithandrewcox@gmail.com. And as always, we do have merchandise for sale. So if you want a hat, a shirt, a cup, anything like that, you're more than welcome. Go ahead, go to the website, click on that merchandise tab, and they'll be able to take you there and get you what it is that you want. Help spread the love of this podcast. All right. With that, I guess we can go round robin. How's everyone doing? We start with Aaron. You're at my top screen there.
Doing good. Just staying busy with this work. You know, government contracts never end, right? It just rolls on to the next one.
That's right, as it should be. Mark, how are you doing?
Oh, all's well in San Diego. Getting a little rain here, which is part of the springtime, of course, in Southern California. Hopefully it'll dry up here, early next month and get on with a great California summer.
Very nice. Yeah, the summertime there is great. I got to say that. That's probably the best part about being in San Diego, at least my opinion. Definitely good summers. Although the water is still a little chilly, even in the summertime.
It is.
Yeah. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. Everything's good. Had a big day of cutting grass, getting some sun. So now I'm distracted by Vic.
I know.
I mean, I just keep watching him like stuff that in. I was like, good gravy, dude. Come on, man.
Not only that, every time he clicks his spoon, the screenshot goes to him eating food. So he forgot to put it on mute. It's all good.
Sorry. My bad.
Well, speaking of Vic, now that you're done eating your super pie or whatever it is.
It was super pie. Life's good down here in the Low Country. We just had my school's musical, so I've been working 15-hour days for the last 7 days. I was the sound tech for our school musical, so it was pretty fun. But it's all done now, so now back to regular stuff. There we go.
Nice. I like it.
Yep.
Cool. School musicals, huh?
Oh yeah, we did Sound of Music, and the kids did real well, so it was fun musical.
All right. I like it. Krista, how about you? How you doing?
I'm great. We're doing well here. Also in the local tree. Had a lot of trees taken down. My dog, doing this stuff, doing my volunteer work as usual. Trying to get the newsletter out for the MCMA and predecessor proud and do a good job.
Nice. All right. I'm digging it. All right. Well, for everybody out there, we had a couple of things on agenda today to talk about. Pretty excited about a couple of them. Very disappointed in one of them. But this week we had the previous commandant from a while back, Al Gray. He was commandant from 1987 to 1991. Nickname of Papa Bear. I did not know that until I read an article about that today. But anyways, he was a commandant, and I'll read what General Smith, the current commandant, kind of said about him today, or this week, I should say. He was a Marine. he was a Marines Marine, a giant who walked among us during his career and after, remaining one of the Corps' dearest friends and advocates, even into this twilight years. And I know from going and doing ceremonies and things like that, I definitely know that he was out there. I'd seen him a couple of times or whatever, but I know he was still out there doing his thing. I didn't ever have an opportunity to really serve with him, anything like that. But, I don't know if anybody else here was serving at the same time. I thought Mark's shaking his head. Yeah. Okay. But anyways, what do you guys think? Anybody? And they're all trying to hit their mute button, unmute. Aaron, is that you? Are you unmuting?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and unmute. Obviously, I being the youngest of the bunch, I did not serve with him. However, being at 8th and I during my first duty station, he attended a lot of the ceremonies and it absolutely Marine. Would not be out rubbing elbows over in center house with the officer. I'm sure he did at some point, but always made a point to come visit the Marines within the marching companies and walk around and visit with us. And the one time that I spoke to him, he attended one of the Corporal's Course graduations that we had at 8th and I, and it was right after General Jones. The new digital camis that we have. I say new; they're old now, right? But
yeah,
they were brand new in like 2001, 2, or something like that. And General Jones came out on the center walk, and we were all, starch pressed cami, spit shine boots, and he's, said, I just threw these on right out of the dryer and didn't have to shine my boots, and you could have heard a pin drop, and then it was like, oh no. But then fast forward at the Corporal's Course graduation, General Gray shows up with his suit jacket in digital cami and a tie.
Right.
And we were like, okay, I guess this is a thing now. So, but that was that had to have been 2002, 2003.
Sounds about right.
Probably around that time frame. But yeah, absolutely a Marine. Always made his rounds to the Marines to talk with them.
Yeah, that jacket he had, that was a pretty sweet jacket, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I was gonna wear one. I'd wear one.
I'm sure he had a full set of them too. It probably wasn't just one.
He had the Woodlands. He had the
yeah.
Mark, how about you?
Yeah, so I was a drill instructor the first time when he was the commandant, and he's the one that made. It was part of the time when recruiting was down and real hard to get new recruits. But instead of like the other services making things easier, paying them more money, everything like that, General Gray made boot camp harder. He's the one that added the Marine Combat Week into boot camp. I think warrior training in the boot camp. This predated the Crucible now, but they went from 1 week in the field to 2 full weeks of training up at Camp Pendleton for field training. And so it was a great addition to boot camp. Like I said, made boot camp harder, more demanding, helped out with the recruiting. So yes, and then his love for the Marine Corps just continued on even after he retired. When the Semper Fi Fund was started, he quickly got involved with them. He ran the Semper Fi Fund for a while, and then stayed as an advisor after that, right up until his death. And that love Marines, love the Marine Corps, and I don't know too many people who have bad things to say about him.
Yeah, very true. One of his quotes, you were talking about him changing boot camp and stuff, but one of his quotes, this was when he was a commanding general, 2nd Marine Division. He says, I don't run a democracy. I train troops to defend democracy, and I happen to be their surrogate father and mother as well as their commanding general. So I thought that was a pretty cool quote. But anybody else? Mike, Krista?
Yeah, we actually that was one of the biggest things because, females, we didn't go anywhere for any additional basic warrior training, but the BWT is why we got our second week, at boot camp. I actually, like I said, I didn't spend a lot of time in the Corps like you guys did, but when we deployed from 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing in El Toro, we were supposed to go home that weekend. They told us to do a police call by the turkey. And then, of course, 15 minutes later, we're on the bus, heading to Saudi Arabia. We went to Bahrain to the base El Sheikhiza, which was an air base there in Bahrain. We got there, and there was a friend of mine. She was a bassoon player, Stephanie Dennis. And we got there late that night on Thanksgiving. We were having dinner, and lo and behold, he walks around. How you doing, girls? What's up, lady? Or he probably didn't call us girls. He probably called us Marines. We shook his hand. He patted us on the back, a little rotund in the front, maybe. So we did meet him and shake his hand. He just said, "Y'all enjoying your Thanksgiving dinner?" "Yes, sir." "How you doing?" And but he was just making his way, just showed up, walking through there. We had no idea. So nice guy. I mean, just a few seconds. "Hello, how you doing?" kind of thing. And as far as the Semper Fi Fund, the MCMA, we donate to a couple charities every year, and that is one of the funds we do donate to is the Semper Fi America's Fund. They are one of the most resourceful. They have low overhead, things like that. It's a good charity.
Very nice. I like it. Mike, Vic, either of you want to say anything? Mike's got his birthday balloons up.
Well, those are my wife's from last week. I don't have the heart to pop them, so
That's probably a good idea.
yeah. Well, that and their flowers. So, they're now sitting over here out of the way. But I took everything else down. But no, I think it was General Gray when I got to 29 Palms in December '93. I don't, Krista, you may know him. Terry Moon, trombone player. He was a sergeant. It was with 3rd Ma, gone to Desert Storm and that. But we, yeah. But he always had a story about, and I believe it was General Gray, and I may be wrong. I actually messaged Terry to confirm, so I wasn't putting out any fake news or anything like that. But he talked, and I mean, I met General Gray. I think it was when Krulak became commandant, and Krulak had started, the push for new, better gear. From sleep systems to tents to, why are we still using crap from World War II? And we have, this technology now where, you can literally have a decent tent and, sleep systems and cold weather gear and stuff like that. But what brought it up was Terry was like, "Oh man," he said, General Gray was there and actually spoke. And he said, he got up and was talking to everybody. It was a whole daggone base on the inclined parade deck at 29 Palms standing there. And he was, they had like a tractor trailer pulled up there and he was standing on, and he goes, "Finally a commandant that has the what's to make a change. And, finally we're going to get, you guys are going to get some good gear. And, we're getting away from this crap." And, he was just going on and on and on. And Terry's like, after we got done, Terry's like, "I'll never forget the day he was on that parade deck." He wasn't, the CG at the time, but he was there. And he was commandant. And he was walking, literally just going across back and forth. But he had his blouse half unbuttoned, hands in his pocket, and his cover just sitting like this. And I guess he had walked around for quite some time like that, waiting on somebody to finally correct him. And finally, some motivator was driving by or whatever and came screaming across the grass and was yelling, "Marine! Marine, what the are you doing?" And all of a sudden, he's like, he got all the way up to him. And at the last minute, General Gray turned around and was like, "Holy crap." And I want to say he was either a corporal or a sergeant, or for some reason, corporal sticks in my head. But I remember Terry Moon telling the story, he said he instantly grabbed me. He said, "You know who I am?" He goes, "Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir." You know, he's standing out there, and he goes, "Come with me." What uni you with? I don't know who he was with. They go all the way up to, I think it was, I don't remember what the name of, the head shed there in 29 Palms. I don't think it was 3,500. It may be a different base, but he literally took him in there and meritoriously promoted him to staff sergeant.
Wow.
And he said, "I finally got a freaking Marine with some damn balls to be a damn Marine," excuse my language, but actually did the right damn thing. And this poor kid had to have been scared out. Marine had to have been scared out of his mind. Here, come with me, follow me, But I just remember that story that everybody heard about it, I guess, out there. So
I guarantee if that was me, I'd have been shitting bricks. Good times. Vic, did you want to say anything?
No, I never had any interaction with him or anything.
All right.
I thought it was, I've always attributed the Marpat to him. And I remember like the first time he was caught on camera wearing his jacket, but that's the only thing I ever knew about him. Never really heard any stories or anybody worked with him or anything.
Yeah, Mark, you would look like you were going to jump in a couple minutes ago. Do you have something? No? Okay. All right. Yeah, I agree. Like, what a Marine type of deal, and just incredible individual. A sad day for the Marine Corps, but we were lucky enough to have him around, at least in my opinion, lucky enough to have him around for as long as 95 years old, I think, when he passed away. I think that's what I wrote down. But yeah, absolutely incredible career. And even after his career, how much he did for the Marine Corps and stuff like that is absolutely incredible. But if nobody has anything else on that, we can move to another topic.
I do have one question, and I was trying to find it while we were talking. I wasn't aware that what organizations within the Marine Corps did he start?
What do you mean, did he start?
Well, like he directed it wasn't the Marine Corps Institute, but it was the Marine Corps Gazette or
that I'm not
war
sure.
Fighting. The Marine Corps warfighting doc. That's they put it all together. They took all the different publications that were floating around the Marine Corps at the time, and they turned it into a warfighting publication.
Yeah, and he was very innovative and took a lot of new ideas. I know the article that I sent out to you guys, it talked about one of his commanders that was under him at the time in the battalion. He was really big into whatever ideas they came up with. He would just implement it and run with it and see what happened. And through that, I guess, is where the warfighting doctrine and stuff like that. I mean, that we can attribute what we do today to a lot of the changes that he made.
Yeah, he was a big believer, like I said, to learn new things, to try new things, but he still also believed in the brilliance and the basics of the Marine Corps discipline and Marines being Marines, and then but not being afraid to try new things, especially if it's going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good point.
I guess it was the Marine Corps Research Center. I think, Krista, you had said at the Marine Corps University.
He was on the board of the Semper Fi Fund, which is a charity.
Gotcha.
Semper Fi.
And also, the one thing I didn't know, he started the Commandant's reading list.
No kidding. Yeah,
that's what I keep looking for. I'm pretty sure said he was an avid reader, which is something I didn't know. Well, I'm sure he was a reader, but I meant as far as the Commandant's reading list at that point. I may be wrong. My brain may have just made it up, but I'm pretty sure that's what it said in the article. But I tried to do my homework, Andrew, but I mean,
you're doing pretty good for it, in my opinion. Yeah,
that's correct. It started it. That's correct.
Yeah. And that program has it's actually a great program. And there's so much, so many leaders across the Marine Corps in general has talked about you learn from the past, you learn from the battles, and that's 100% true. And, that's why I think that program has done so well over the years. But I don't know, you guys do a lot of reading from the Commandant's reading list? Have you? At least in the past, I should say. You may not do it now. I don't know. No. Okay.
Yeah, well, I did actually when I was on recruiting duty. There was a lot of the Commandant reading list books were on audiobook. So I listened to We Were Brothers Once and Young or something like that. What was another one? On Killing. One of the ones that I thought was kind of weird on the Commandant's reading list was Ender's Game, which that audiobook, the dramatization of Ender's Game, is really awesome. But I had read the book previously, but I listened to the audiobook when I was on recruiting duty. So, but yeah, I listened to several of the books that were on the list on audiobook. There was one like American Gladiator or something like that. Don't waste your time. it reads like Genesis. So and so begot so and so begot so and so begot so and so. This general trained this lieutenant who became this general, and it was just like, oh my god, it was awful. But
not a good audiobook to drive to.
Yeah, especially 11 o'clock at night when you're you still have an hour left to get back to the recruiting station. It was awful.
Yeah, I don't know if it still is or not, but for a while, they wanted to list the books you've read under fitness reports, and I'm sure with write-ups for Marine and NCO of the quarter, meritorious promotions, things like that. They wanted, some commanders and some sergeant majors wanted those definite pieces of information to be put in your official file. So that was, and one great thing, I was especially on deployment board ship. I did a lot of shipboard deployments here and there, and I was always reading a lot, and I love to read. But someone had told me, can't go to combat every day, but you can read about how someone reacted and how someone was thinking and feeling and what they did to overcome their fear and hesitation. So you can do that every day, and you can start putting that in your brain so you can pull it up out of your subconscious mind when you're actually in the situation.
Yeah, that's very true. One of the books that I remember reading off the Commandant's reading list, I was very surprised because I wish I could remember the name of it, but I can't. I was during World War II, but it was from the perspective of like a Lance Corporal or a PFC. And the whole time it's just like he was frustrated with not knowing what the heck was going on. And like literally everything that happened, he was so mad at everybody. And
with the old breed at Peleliu.
Yeah. And as I was reading it, I was like, yeah, Sled. Yeah, that's right. So as I was reading, I was like, what the heck? Like, why is this important? This Lance Corporal PFC, whatever, is mad at all this other stuff. I think I was a gunny or something at the time I was reading it. But by the time I made it to the end, I was like, it's pretty important for me to know as a gunnery sergeant how important it is to make sure my junior Marines know what's going on. So I thought that was a very interesting book on the Commandant's reading list. But yeah, very good book.
You guys know for every level on that list, they have the U.S. Constitution. It's at every single level. So I think that's very interesting. I mean, there's several ones that are on there. Fields of Fire, I like that. But I've tried to read some on almost every level. So even though
Speaking of the Constitution, one of the individuals running for president, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I'm very upset with him right now, mainly because he did not mention my name as a running mate, but he mentioned pretty much everybody else. I mean, hell, he mentioned Jesse the Body Ventura. I mean, come on. I mean, I could do at least as good as Jesse the Body, Aaron Rodgers. Come on. Aaron Rodgers. I know Vic over there likes Aaron Rodgers, though. Mike Rowe was on there. Mike Rowe's another great one. But still.
Mike Rowe would be a good one. He knows all the dirty jobs.
That's a good point. I got to meet Mike Rowe when we went to San Francisco to the Marines Memorial Club. They were doing their birthday ball, and the band went up to support it. And Mike Rowe, he wasn't like the guest of honor or anything like, but he was in the audience, and they made an announcement that, hey, he's in the audience. All the Marines, make sure you go up and say hi to him or whatever. So out in the audience, you hear, "Oh, gee, thanks, I appreciate that." It was Mike Rowe, but I got my picture made with him. I actually snuck it in, so he was talking to some people. I was like, I didn't want to interrupt him, so I was just trying to sneak a picture, and which I did. But he caught me, and he was like, "Why didn't you just tell me you wanted to take a picture?" And I'm like, I didn't want to interrupt you. So he showed me how to take a picture. Like I tried to do it with on the front of the camera or whatever. I don't know. I'm not very good at it. He showed me another way to do it, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I was like, I learned something today about doing these emojis and being able to talk, and the emoji talks, I don't know. I don't know. Young guys know what I'm talking about, but yeah, Mark's like, I don't know. I don't have a clue. But anyway, so I showed him that, and he's like, oh, that's really cool. And I was like, here, do one for my wife, and I'll send it to her. And he's like, okay. So he did one, and it's like, hey, this is Mike Rowe, and I'm doing this emoji thing, and da da da. And he's like, and apparently I'm wearing a goddamn cowboy hat or something like that, because it was my emoji. So anyway, that's my Mike Rowe. Oh, after that, this is a very important part of the conversation we had. He goes, hey, can you send that to me? I was like, yeah, I can send it to you. So I prepped it. I was like, how do you want it? He is like, oh, just text it to me. I'm like, okay. So I prepped it. I'm like, here you go. You put your number in there and then send it to yourself. He's like, okay. So he types his number in, he hits send, and then you just see the craziness fall over him. He's like, oh no. He looks at me, he's like, don't you F me on this. I'm telling you right now, don't F me on this. I still have his number, by the way. I've only called him once, I think. He did not answer. But anyways, that's my claim to fame with Mike Rowe. And I had nothing to do with Robert F. Kennedy other than he was one of the individuals that got picked. So anybody else want to talk about his picks or Robert F. Kennedy any? You want to talk about him? We can campaign for him while we're here. No, just me. All right.
Campaign for him? Is Carlene okay with that?
I mean, it's not George W. Bush, but
right. I mean, I think I would look just as good as Jesse Ventura holding a portable Gatling gun. Totally, that's me. I can.
He was a good wrestler, though.
Yeah, he was a good wrestler too. Yeah, but at least he was a governor. Aaron Rodgers. Okay, just because he was anti-vax, you're going to have him run as vice president? That seems a little okay. Whatever. That's also like, well, I just want to have a girl. I was running, yeah. So just pick one. That's all it is. But I would think out of all of his selections, Jesse Ventura would probably be the most qualified.
Well, he had some actually good ones on there. I just named off the ones that I was impressed with, I'll say.
I didn't see anybody. I mean, I read the article, but I didn't see anybody else on the list.
Yeah, so Nicole Shanahan, she's the one that went from Democrat to Republican, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And Tulsi Gabbard was one. And Rand Paul was another one that was on his short list.
Yeah. That's interesting, because, I mean, he initially ran as a Democrat, then moved to independent, which I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the DNC already did the same thing to Bernie Sanders. They just decided, even though he got more electorates at the DNC, they just decided that they wanted Hillary Clinton to be their party candidate. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and that's why he decided to run as an independent. But if you believe the article, he's polling about the same. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be another type of deal when, or was it Ross Perot back in the day ran? Where he just taking votes away from one or the other, which I don't know. I don't know if he'd ever make it, but
That's everybody's argument against a three-party system is all you're doing is splitting up the votes. But it's still democracy. Sorry.
Yep. What even says it in there? That's why the Democratic Party is against it, because they're afraid it may screw them.
Yeah.
In the election and take votes away from their party, and Trump ultimately is going to, win those states at that point. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I other than I like to hear him when he's because he comes up with some good stuff whenever he's talking in front of Congress and stuff. But I enjoy his rants every now and again. I like that. But other than that, I just brought it up only because he didn't mention me in his running mate. I was very disappointed in the fact, and my wife pointed that out to me. Just in case you guys are wondering, I'm just kidding. She did not, but.
Can you imagine seeing that slogan up behind you guys? That slogan up behind you guys?
Yeah, yeah.
Your slogan.
My slogan?
Yes.
Oh, stay motivated and change your socks. I think that we would win if we had that up there. I'm telling you, I'm pretty positive.
Just up there.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, you know what? I'm putting that on my screenshot behind me next time.
So Kennedy Cox 2024.
There you go.
Stay motivated, change your socks.
It has a nice ring to it.
It has a nice ring to
it. It rhymes and everything.
Yeah.
We got some stickers when we were at your party, but man, they'd be all over the country, dude. They'd be stuck on every gas pump, every window. I mean, it'd be
and not the one that says I did that.
Stay motivated and change your sock. Everybody be like, "What the hell does that mean?"
Yep.
You got to just guess at it. Everybody wants to know what it means, and I always just say you got to guess. I don't know.
You got to vote for it to know what's in it.
If you vote for me, you'll know.
Yeah.
What all the kids say now? If you know, you know.
Yeah. Oh, you know. Brand new pair of socks for everybody. That's what I say. So if you're looking for a running mate, I'm your man. All right. So speaking of running mates, did you guys see the article about the guy that gunnery sergeant that was king in the Haitian island for 3 years while on active duty, by the way, which was incredibly just insane. I can't even imagine that. And in the article, it said that they did the queen, did a ceremony and made him the king or whatever. And he thought it was not a joke, he said, but he thought it was just ceremonial, and he had done a lot for them, and helped them out and stuff like that. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, there was a king previously that had the same first name. And I would tell you his name, but I don't have it in front of me. Anyways, he had the same first name.
Faustine or something like that.
Yeah, Faustine or something like that, yeah.
So he went, that king left and told them that his descendants would come back. And this gunner sergeant come in, help the Haitian people and really kind of help that divide of what was going on during that time. Helped them out and had the same name. So in their mind, that was that guy reincarnated. And so they were like, that's our guy. That's the king. And made him the king. I mean, how could you imagine being a gunnery sergeant in Iraq and they're like, hey, you're the king of Iraq? And, I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, but it sure didn't happen.
When I was a PFC in Lance Corporal, every gunnery sergeant was a king.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Well, I remember Sergeant Cox didn't feel that way.
No? What do you mean, Sergeant Cox? That guy? I don't even know how he made it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Sergeant Cox in Iraq. You were like, goddamn gunnies. Everybody. Because we had what? Well, I guess it was Jones and I, but it wasn't even just that. It was freaking staff NCOs. I swear to God,
I would never say, and I can't even believe you would even attempt to bring something like that up, because this sweet innocent face would never, ever talk about his staff and COs that way. I know better. He's giving me a thumbs up.
But you can imagine though, like I said, you know how company gunnies are, how they got to run everything. This gunny is down there and backwards, you know, Haiti. Knife handing everybody, controlling everything, setting everything up, getting everything running like this, running like that. Some tough guy down there tries to step up and takes over. He takes him out, or has the Marines take him out. I could see the people just falling in love with him.
And you're right about the company gunny thing, guys. That's no joke. A company gunny, he can get anything, anytime, anywhere. I tell you, they all do it.
One of the best jobs I had was as a company gunny, because like I said, you're the, even it says in the the 6-4, I think you're the direct representative of the commanding officer for training and operations. And you just, you have to run everything. If you don't arrange it, it's not going to happen.
I was always taught beans, bullet, bandages, and bad guys.
That's it.
They handle everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
And you can usually get away with a lot of things too, because that's just the company gunny. You know? I was saved a few times by commanders or sergeant majors go, yeah, that's just how the company gunny is.
Yeah, so I would tell you that the company gunny, I don't know how all the company gunnies do it, but they manage to acquire anything they need. And it's amazing. You can go to them and like, hey, I need this, and whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Somehow, some way that company gunny is going to fit out. So I know, Mark, you were that guy.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. So I don't know. Do you think something like that would happen today? Do you think somebody could get elected? I don't know if you would call it elected.
I mean, Haiti does need a king right now.
Do they?
They're under massive unrest right now.
Yes.
Again.
They have a warlord that's basically conducted a coup and taken over down there. So.
Wow. Yeah. Well, won't be long. I guarantee you somebody will be down there trying to help them out.
Yeah. I don't think it could happen the way it did because, like back then, the lack of communications, they said he was down there for 3 years, and, it's like Marine Corps probably forgot about him. It's like, no one else wants to go down there. We'll just leave
independent duty.
Yeah.
Independent duty. Yeah.
Well, he went back several times, though.
Yeah, he went back several times. 4 times. Yeah, he requested it, and they're like, oh, that's backwards country. Why would anyone want to go there? Okay, if you requesting it, go.
And he goes and becomes the king.
Yeah,
because he was the king.
Because he was the king. He's making things happen, getting things done. Yeah. They said they straightened out some of the corruption, that was going on, and the people really liked him for it.
Yeah, they said in the article it's talked about toward the end, though, he was there was king for 3 years, and then the Haitian was it the Haitian government that was
complaining about it.
Yeah, and they talked to the U.S. government, said, hey, you need to take this guy out, or not take him out. You need to remove him
him.
Yeah, there you go. He didn't die. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. I should read
it wasn't during the Clinton administration.
What's that?
It wasn't during the Clinton administration.
Wow. I've got some good. No, I don't want to get hurt. Never mind.
None of us know what you speak about, Mark.
Yeah.
None of us. I mean,
Mark's on his own right now.
It's kind of like if I'm not saying if there is a mafia, I'm sure they're good guys.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Oh man, yeah, that's good stuff. All right, so we went off the rails a little bit, and that's okay. I'm all right with it. Anything else? You guys want to talk about something else? Because I just sent those 3 things. That was all I was going to talk about. But we can talk about anything. And I'm on my own again. Yeah.
No. What did anybody watch Roadhouse? The new Roadhouse?
Oh, no, I haven't watched it yet. Is it any good?
Did anybody else watch it?
I didn't watch it, but at the cigar lounge today, one of the guys at Cigar Lounge said he watched it and he said it was pretty violent. That's all he said. I was like, oh, all right, sounds like a good movie.
We can talk about it another week when y'all watch it. I liked it.
Well, I mean, it does have Conor McGregor and Jake Gyllenhaal, or whatever his name is.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it.
Jesse Ventura, but I liked it, and we can talk about it another week, okay? If y'all want to watch it.
What's it on?
All right. I think Prime has it. I think it's on Prime. I don't know if it's on Netflix, but I think it's on Prime. Prime Video.
I don't know.
It's Amazon Prime Video. Yeah, no, it's probably not free. It's probably like.
Oh, so you mean I paid for last night and I didn't know it?
Yeah, maybe like $19.99 or something like that. Who knows?
So one of the guys that we did previously, or I did an interview with him previously, went to the what is it, the preview or whatever in LA.
Yeah, Polly.
Yeah. Paul Durso. Yeah, he went. So Paul Durso, if you guys listen to it, it's a very interesting story. But he was big into karate. Not karate. Was it karate? Karate, jujitsu. He did a bunch of different mixed martial arts before it was mixed martial arts, and became a champion in LA. So he actually did stuff with Chuck Norris. Some individuals like that were some big name guys. Anyway, Kung Fu Magazine reached out to him and was like, hey, would you like to, we'd like you to go to this preview or whatever of the movie or whatever. So he got to go. It was really cool. Yeah. Great guy, Paul Durso.
Yeah, they went to the martial arts viewing of it. So.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, he said one of the guys that he used to do karate, I don't know, whatever the martial art was, one of the guys actually went up and trained with Bruce Lee at one point in time. It was pretty cool. So ties to Bruce Lee. Yeah. All right. Mark.
Okay, so apparently that movie is free if you have Amazon Prime. That's what I was looking up.
Amazon Prime. All right, cool. Well, everyone do your research, and we'll have to. I really like the old Roadhouse, to be honest with you. That was one of my favorite movies.
So should we do a compare and contrast?
So we have to watch both.
Watch both the old and the new, and do a comparison.
Yes.
I think I can watch the old one for sure, and the new one's it's good, right? I don't know. Krista says it.
That's the assignment.
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that. That's the assignment.
Krista said that's the assignment.
Well, I like the old one too because of my age, and that's why I really respect the old one. So I just wonder what y'all's take on the new one was, if you've seen it.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it this week. I know my wife has mentioned it more than once, so I'm sure we will watch it at some point. But this week, because that's the assignment, I will make sure I watch it this week.
Sorry. Well, you asked for input.
All right, Mark. So last week was a big holiday for you.
It was one of the high holy days.
Yeah.
One of the great days of the year.
So how was that for you? Did you do anything fun? What did you do?
So we had the San Diego St. Patrick's Day Parade is the largest west of the Mississippi River, and every year, I know you did it also. Every year we have the Marine Band San Diego leads off the parade, does the opening ceremony for it. And I always help coordinate that opening ceremony, and so I was with the start of the parade. And then I was just in the festival area afterwards, listening to some good traditional Irish music, and having some Guinness, enjoying myself.
Very nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I remember doing that parade on a couple of occasions.
Yep.
And
I remember you.
after there was some dancing. There was like we got fed. I remember there was a tent.
Yep.
And there was like some Irish dancing and stuff like
Irish
that.
dancing. Yes.
Mhm.
Good. Just celebrate the tradition, heritage. But once again, start off with Marine Color Guard and the Marine Band San Diego to show the American pride that the Irish immigrants have.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Anybody else do anything to celebrate, Mark, on the Irish occasion? Mike, I know you were celebrating a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Last week I was trying
with
to
a good name like that, you should.
Well, yeah, I had during the podcast. I think I drank a whole bottle of Jameson, but I don't know if that was a good thing or not.
He was close.
But I was trying to explain last week, the meaning of St. Patrick's Day. And, I'm of Irish descent, but I mean, my descendants came to the United States in the mid 1800s. And a lot of that was, it was explained, but it was never really, really explained. And unfortunately, over time, depending on where you're at in the country, a lot of it is lost. And I didn't know till my wife and I went to Ireland last October and actually got to experience it and talk to people. And we actually did a thing, and it was the footsteps of St. Patrick, to actually better understand, and went into the chapels that he was recognized for starting, at least. And it was supposedly the burial place of St. Patrick himself, although they couldn't verify that, but it was a recognized burial place. But it's, I've talked to, even a week before and even since then, several people I know, and they're like, all you guys do is want to drink and have fun, and it's just a day to party. And I was like, well, it's more than that. It's a heritage thing. And the one guy's like, well, you're of Irish descent. Have you ever had a hangover? And I'm like, well, yes, but not, I mean, you drink enough, you're going to feel it, especially the older I get. But, and he and I actually got in a conversation, it's a guy I work with, about it. But he was talking about, and he's a black guy. And he started, he was saying, well, he was talking about Irish and that. And I said, you do realize that the Irish that immigrated to this country were treated like complete trash? They were lower than the bottom of the barrel. They were trash. And that's how people thought of them. And that's where my family, what I can trace, didn't come to the United States. They went to Canada, and then came from Canada down to Pennsylvania for that reason. And,
wow.
There's McNanny's all over the country now, but, we're probably all related, and the surname has changed so many times over the years. And that was another thing I had learned in Ireland. We were in Cove, Ireland, and they had this huge cultural center. But they had one whole room. It was nothing but book after book after book. I mean, there was books everywhere. And I had my hat I usually wear, but it's my son's team hockey hat, but it says McNanny on the back of it. And we just walked in there, and I turned around, and he goes, oh, you got some Irish in you. And I was like, I looked at him, he goes, I may be Irish, but I can still read English. And I was like, okay, I didn't say that, And he literally started digging through books, and he was just going through. And I mean, he and I were flipping pages, and just going and going and going and going to the point he finally found the name, and he was looking at it, and he pulled it, just I don't know who it is in Ireland. It's a company that has done, years. He said he told me to name the company, and I have it, but he said they've been doing it for over 100 years now, where they've been researching surnames. And he said that the name is changed. And he said the funny thing is, in Ireland and even Scotland, Vic, that the names, even in the same family, they would change the name. Would marry, say one brother would marry, another brother would marry. They would change the name from McLaughlin to McLaughlin to McNary to McNamee and it was all based on, and a lot of us over here think, okay, a lot of that has to do with coming into Ellis Island. And you said your name and they
lost it.
Me?
Froze up. Oh, you got to say it again. You froze.
I don't know where I was at.
Coming into the country, name change.
Like into Ellis Island.
Yeah.
They couldn't, if there was a language barrier, they would change the name. That name. So, now you're a Miller, you're a Smith. What did you do? I'm a carpenter. Okay. Well, they would change the name. And he said that was common even in Ireland. They would change the name because they would try to stay in the same areas, but realized they couldn't, so that they would branch either to Northern Ireland or Southern Ireland, where it was a religious thing. Mm-hmm. And that was the history of my family that I had known, was whether it was McNanny or McNary or McNamee or whatever it may have been, it was a religious thing. There was two brothers and they split. And the family had been Catholic, but this brother did not want to stay with the Catholic Church. And it was basically a family feud. And it was like, okay, well, he packed up his wife and they left and went to Canada.
No kidding.
Yeah. Wow. And that's the interesting thing with the Irish having, spent more time in pubs over there than I probably should have. And my wife's like, hey, we got to go. And I'm like, I'm only on my fourth one. Just give me a second, talking to people. And that was the one picture I sent you guys was me. Well, when you were asking for a picture, and Krista said, I don't remember what you said now, Krista, about it, but literally that was probably 3 or 4 Jameson in, and had an Irish coffee and probably 4 Guinness. And she looked at me, she goes, that's the last one. And I was like, okay, I'm like, I don't think so, but all right. And it was the last one, but yeah.
Sounds like a thorough historical research to me.
Yeah. Well, that was it. Just talking to people. And that was the amazing thing, talking with just random people that walked in, how you're treated like family. It's just unbelievable how the Irish people, and I'm not saying, because Vic, you said you're of Scottish descent, right?
Not me, my wife. She's a Clan Forbes.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure you can speak the same way, that, the way they look at you and welcome you in. And and I literally was like, I'm home. I'm finally home. I always wanted to go to Ireland, and we get off the ship in Cove to go to like Cork and all that. We ended up spending 2 days there because of the weather.
Oh, he froze again. Is it just me? No. Hey, Mark, have you been to Ireland as well?
I have. I went for a friend's wedding, and then we were there for about a little over a week. But it's just like Mike was saying, especially you go to the pub, and there's always some historian that knows the history of everything, especially your name and where your name comes from and what it means, and what, you know, ancient times, not ancient times, but centuries ago, what clans and what they stood for and who they fell under and everything. That's just it's great. And then they have historical societies in each county that you can go back to and then look up your family's name. And a lot of times they might know when your ancestor left Ireland and where they went to.
Wow.
So it always helps to know that before you get there, so you have a good starting place.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think back to my dad was a huge John Wayne fan, and I think back to The Quiet Man.
The Quiet Man.
Yeah, that's one of my
favorite. It's so accurate. It's so accurate of how the people will treat you and want to know about you and want to help you out. But there's also the grudge. They say it's Irish Alzheimer's when you forget everything except the grudge.
I like that. I think I'm going to use that. I'm not Irish, I don't think, but I think I'm going to use it. I think my name actually, my wife did some research. It goes back to either England or Ireland. And I think it had to do with when they, some of the English went to Ireland, whatever.
Oh, of course.
But Cox comes from cock, which is rooster. So I think my ancestors were chicken farmers. That's what I think. I don't know that for sure. That's just what I imagine. Chicken farmers. I mean, I got the farmer look going on, so it works.
See, I would have tried to claim potato farmer or something like that, but
very nice.
Andrew, I think you could be any nationality you want. I mean, there are cocks all over history, so just
that's true. They are everywhere. This just turned really bad. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good thing I clicked the not rated one, what is it, rated R or whatever. I don't know. There was two choices.
We're here for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So with that, has anybody got anything else that they want to bring up or chat about this week?
I will say that I was doing some, unbeknownst to me, I was doing some Irish history lessons also. On Netflix, there's a series called Warrior. And it's about San Francisco prior to 1900, like the late 1800s. And it's about all the factions that were like happening in San Francisco. And one of them is the Irish. So check it out. It's a good series.
What's the name of it?
Warrior. It's also about, it's like between the Ducks, they call them the Ducks, all the white people, and then the Chinese and the Irish. And so it's basically like three gangs all vying for power in I think it was San Francisco. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. It's like Game of Thrones, but in San Francisco, like late 1800s San Francisco.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig that. Yeah. I remember watching a show. Never mind. I won't go there. All right. Sorry. I was going to say something really stupid. I decided this probably not the best thing to do.
Why stop now?
I may not have been drinking Irish whiskey, but I have been drinking a little bit. So it took you guys a little bit to get on. And I was sitting here for about 20 minutes by myself. So.
Yeah, I had to take the mini-me to Target and back and all that kind of stuff. But 2 more weeks and she'll have her driver's test done and she can be her own taxi. I'm tired of being that girl's taxi. Yeah, man. Getting close. Oh, man.
That's good
close,
stuff.
It's like when they start being, your kids start becoming autonomous, the little things, when they can finally start holding their own bottle, it's like, oh my gosh, you finally arrived. When they start changing themselves, it's like, oh, finally, when they can finally start wiping their own rear end, oh my gosh, finally, when they can.
Did you say, hold on, let's rewind for a second, because you said they started changing themselves?
Well, when they can dress themselves, yeah. Not change the diaper, but dress themselves, change clothes, yeah. But like one of the big ones is finally now she can drive herself around, go do your thing and leave us alone. Go be a young adult. Don't kill yourself, but like now, just go away.
So stay off the
Ridiculous.
sidewalks, is what you're saying.
Yes, stay off the sidewalk. I mean, I'm the one that trained her, so she is an exceptional driver, but she's still learning. So
I'm not so sure.
Come on, I'm not as bad as Knuckles.
I've never rode with Knuckles, so I have no idea.
That's why you're still alive.
Noted. Mike is finally back, and I know he wants to finish up his story. No, he's like, no, screw you. I'm good. Noted. Cheers to you, Mike.
It's a lot.
Anyways, so with that, if anybody has anything else, we can chat about it. If not, then we can wrap it up and move on. Aaron, do you have anything else to say?
Nope. Other than same as always, it's great getting on here, talking with y'all and sharing in the camaraderie.
I like it. Mark, you got anything?
Just to echo what Aaron said about being sharing the camaraderie, being on here, being part of a group, and have a very blessed Easter week and very blessed Easter.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. And Krista.
Yes, that's right. He was coming in on a Don Palms. Next week will be a different week. So definitely.
That's right. I like it. And Vic?
Got nothing. Everybody enjoy your week. See you guys next week.
Sounds good. And Mike, that you're back. Now you get to say something else, Mike.
Nobody wants to hear me.
Not true.
No,
Oh my God.
I'll echo Aaron. I appreciate each week being a part of something that's more than me. So it's something that I've been needing for a long time. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Motivate. I like it. Hey, thank you all for coming on every week. I appreciate it. Even if you can't make it every week, we still talk about you behind your back. So thank you for showing up this week. There's no behind the back talking that happened. But I appreciate you guys coming on. To all the listeners out there, please, if you need some help, you're struggling, anything like that, you can always dial 988, press option 1, and they'll be able to get you in contact with somebody that's going to help you out. If you don't feel like calling, you can always text 838-255. Again, that's 838-255. And same type of thing, they're going to be able to put you in contact with somebody that's going to help you out. And if you feel like you'd rather chat online, something like that, you can always go to the VA website, veteranscrisisline.net. There's a chat icon. All you gotta do is click on that icon. You can chat away. And it's all anonymous. You just tell them what you feel like telling them. You don't have to tell them everything. But one veteran life loss is one too many. And I know I care about you. Everybody else cares about you. So please go get the help that you need. All right. With that, to my crew, thank you again for joining me. I always have a blast every time I get to chat with you. To everybody out there, stay motivated, change your socks.